Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Hello to everyone on YouTube, and hello to everyone over on the D Lives. What is going on, my peeps? We got Captain Poppyton over there, it looks like. Have a good night or day, says Captain Poppyton. I don't know if that's from the other day or not. Captain Mr. Roy is over there. Boom with the psychedelic frog. What's going on, bruv? We got Peter Shout-On, Hyper, X13, Tommy, 70B, Tina. Both my Valkyries are here right now. Mr. Pete's here. Lost Soldier, 212. Lost Soldier. It's been too long, man. So glad to have you back on the channel. Mikey Woods, what's going on, bruv? What is going on? What do we got here? Tom King is here. Super Anime Gamer says, hey-o, what is up, my dude? What is up, Super Anime Gamer? Hope you are doing just fine. Price is Right reviews here as well. Razor Rex is here. Kamran Pasha, what is going on? He says, salam from Hollywood. Salam to you, good sir. Blake Hemlow is here also. Jace Doe is here. Macho Man 701. Oh, yeah. Hyman says, hi, Odin, my brother. How's it going? It's going just fine. How are you going? Bruce, what's going on? Bruce is in the chat. Got a couple of items that Bruce sent me to show in a little bit. Alex Garley says, howdy, Odin. How's it going? Can't really hear all that well. Weiss fam is over for Texas versus LSU. So got English in one ear and Native American in the other. Well, damn, son. That sounds like a lot of fun. You know, I don't do the college football, so go team. HyperNex13 says, so Mandalorian is going to be political, eh? The Godfather kind or identity politics kind? It seems like identity politics kind, and it seems that it's going to try and make some references to 2016 based off of the interview with us. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking out on the actor's name, but he was actually an actor that was in was actually a really great role in Breaking Bad. Let me see if I can find the article from Bounding into Comics. That way I can get the dude's name. So we call it Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito. He is the one that said that there will be political messaging to it. And the thing that really sticks out to me the most, and so this is from his own words themselves, he says that in a world that is lawless, with leaders who exhibit a kind of faulty power because they have ideas that they want to aggrandize themselves, seems to be taking a shot, seems to be a 2019 comment that is still rooted very much so in 2016 because people just can't really seem to get over it right now. He then went on to say, we are in that world right now. That's why the show is so very particular at this time in our history. Yes, it's entertainment, but yes, it's also enlightening in the way we are all struggling with that moral boundary. And it's those lines in particular that seem to indicate that the show itself will not only just go woke, but also will go ahead and basically keep everyone from being able to enjoy it because everyone's going to be reading easily through the lines, if not just being thrown in their face that, oh yeah, this is an allegory for our current modern day American politics, which most people, since most people watching the show probably won't be in the United States eventually, because I think it's starting off, it's rolling out in the United States and a couple other areas before it starts to expand to the rest of the world. Talking about Disney Plus. I think that because of that reason, what you're going to end up seeing is a lot of people are going to turn out and tune out if it is indeed that bad. And again, I still think the show has a lot of potential. I think that the show has a lot more going for it than going against it. But I will say that I think that there's at least now cause for concern, which is one of the things we're talking about tonight, of course, is that there's definitely concerns for The Mandalorian going political. And I think that most of us are just so sick and tired of it. It's in everything. It seriously has become a part of everything, and we are just sick and tired of it. We just want good, honest entertainment. And that's something that is just so damn rare in today's modern politic world. It's awful. Captain Peabody's over on D-Lab. J-Roar, what's going on, bruv? Captain Peabody, thank you so much for the ice cream donation. I appreciate it, man. And he says, sort of sounds the same as any other time in history. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. If they keep it general and broad, then I think they'll be okay. But if they try to really ham it up, if they start to say certain lines and quotes, similar to, for example, Black Panther, at the end of Black Panther, there was the speech that T'Challa gave at the very end, where basically he went on to say, we don't want to build walls, or we don't want to build borders, we want to build bridges, like something to that effect. And it was language being used that was very obviously going against a certain person and a certain country in the process. And that's one of the many reasons why I had issues with that movie. I mean, obviously, there's other things too. The storyline, just overall, the editing And pacing of the film is not all there. The CGI is not very good. The end CGI is total crap, which is why for me it's a B- film. And some people don't even like that. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair grade. I mean, I could easily be like, I think it's an F, but I don't, because I think there are some good things to it. Namely, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, because I think Chadwick Boseman is a boss actor. And it's really sad that the film just wasn't as good as he was in it, right? But yeah, if it's more general, if Mandalorian ends up being a little bit more general in its politics, similar to other Star Wars films, similar to a lot of other films in history, then it'll be fine. It'll survive. But if it has those subtle jabs in there that really aren't that subtle because they're using very pinpoint language to try and convey certain emotions and certain political ideologies, that's when I think it will end up pushing a lot of people away. Drake Tafoya says, Odin, what is going on, good sir? Super Anime Gamer says, I'm good, thank you. Got my wisdom teeth out yesterday, so that sucked, but hey, I'm chilling in Asgard eating chicken tenders, so I'm happy right now. Well, you're lucky to be eating chicken tenders, because I knew a lot of people when they got the wisdom teeth taken out that they just couldn't eat anything. They were basically stuck to soup and to ice cream, and which are great items, by the way. I love eating those, especially when you don't feel very well. But yeah, I was one where I actually healed up pretty quickly. It seems like you are too. If you're already eating chicken tenders, you're probably on the right track. But I had a couple of friends where they had really bad reactions, and they were homebound for days. Like me, I could have gone out that night and ended up just waiting a day, like just taking it easy for a night, and then I was out by the next night going out with friends and everything, and I was healed up within a week, to the point where I was able to eat almost normally. And some people don't have that reaction. Some people, it's just, nope, you're done. Cabin Wingster says, just dropping in to say hello. Also forgot to mention Tuesday that you can use the time for the High Council to catch up on your EFAP content. Well, here's the thing, is I finished the One Man Low Council, but it's not that I go off and just start watching YouTube for hours on end, right? I'm married, so I try and spend that time, if there is time left with the wife, we try and watch a show together sometimes. And if not, then usually I'm getting ready for bed too, because I teach and we get up early, and I do daily mass as well before school. And so, yeah, I don't really have time even then to watch anything. It's like, I really wish that I had this plethora of time to dedicate to movies, TV shows, to YouTube, but sometimes and some days I just have finite time. I did get to see a movie today, though. Because last night on Friday Night Tights over on Nerdrotic's channel, it was discovered that there's yet another movie that I've not seen, and this one was True Romance. And I had never seen it before, saw it today. It's okay. I mean, I like the actors in it. I do like some of the dialogue. But overall, I just don't care about the main relationship, which is kind of supposed to be the driving force in the movie. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't think the actress in there, and I always forget her name, and that's just because to me she's so damn forgettable, and I just don't like her, because I think that she's been given way too much attention and way too much props in this day and age. Let me try and see if I can pull it up right now. But anyway, it was directed by Tony Scott, co-written by Quentin Tarantino. So that I thought was that was kind of what got me in there. Hans Zimmer did the score. Did not sound like any other Hans Zimmer scores in there. But Patricia Arquette, looking that up right now, I'm not a fan of hers at all. Her character was so freaking annoying. Christian Slater is fine in it, but I was actually more impressed with the supporting cast. James Gandolfini was great as always. Dennis Hopper was great. You had Val Kilmer in there in kind of an uncredited role because you never really saw him on screen, but he played Elvis in there because I could hear the voice and I thought, oh, that's definitely Val Kilmer. Gary Oldman, who had actually a minor part in the movie, oddly enough. Brad Pitt, also minor role in the film, and Christopher Walken, who, of course, as we all know, was a complete badass. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the overall story because the main focal point is on those two, right? Is on Patricia Arquette, Christian Slater, and I just didn't buy their romance overall. It's called True Romance, and I didn't buy any of it. So much for being true. We got a donation, though. Thank you very much. The Price is Right review for the $5 super chat says, hey, my man, long time no chat, bro. You got Mandalorian concerns. I got cheeseburger concerns. Now, SJWs want to ban cheeseburgers for global warming. Yes, they do. And it's really scary because if you're going to take away my cheeseburger, I'm going to put up arms, right? I'm going to throw up. Not like, throw up, vomit, but I'm going to throw up, I'm going to put arms up because you don't take away my cheeseburgers. Now, I will say this much. I've had these Impossible soy-based burgers before, and they're not terrible, but they're really bad for you too. Like, they're not any better than anything else. So basically, the only reason to have it is to have it taste just like a burger, but just don't have the meat because of, oh my gosh, no, cow farts, and oh no, it's bad. Like, again, Do I think that we can do better? Sure. Do I think that it should be forced on anybody? Hell to the no. If you're going to force anybody to do something, you're ridiculous. Nostalgia Network, what's going on, dude? Says, I just got done watching Alita Battle Angel again. Do you think it'll get a sequel? I do. Where and how it comes about is the giant question mark. Is it going to get a theatrical release? That I honestly don't know. Is it getting a sequel of some kind? I really do believe so, but it could be in a series, right? It could be in a straight to the Disney Plus streaming service network, which I don't want to see, but that very well could be what actually happens. And it's one of those things where I want it to get a sequel. I want the story to continue, but at the same time, I don't want it to be given something that it doesn't deserve. And I don't want it to be given something where it's not going to be able to continue the story in the same way. You know, that's a movie that should be seen on the big screen. Those are effects that should get a decent sized budget, right? And I have a fear that it's not going to get the budget that it so really deserves. But based on early sales from Blu-rays and everything like that, even though they might not be as high as some of the others, it's still making profit now in home release. And I know that a lot of these stores have not been able to keep up with demand either. So I'm really interested to find out what worldwide sales are going to look like for that movie when it comes to home release, because I know it's selling well here. I know it's selling probably even better overseas. And I think that because of that reason, we'll probably end up seeing that film make enough money, because it needs to make around $30 million or so in its post-release in order to make back its money. Alex McCarthy says, I liked Giancarlo in Revolution. What a neat show. Yeah, never saw Revolution, but yeah, Giancarlo Esposito is a fantastic actor. I really do enjoy him a lot. Tom King, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Super chat says, Hail Odin. If Disney just confirmed a Ruin Johnson trilogy after all the backlash, how do we trust The Mandalorian or anything else they do? That's a great point, Tom King. Why should we trust anything that they do if they are still going to be backing someone like Rian Johnson and still going to be producing films just like The Last Jedi? I think that automatically should make us question every decision they make, most especially when it comes to Star Wars content. That being said, when you have names like Jon Favreau, when you have names like Dave Filoni, when you have Mandalorian, Clone Wars Season 7, you do have people and content that many people are drawn to. And many people really, it's what's kept alive the love of Star Wars for a lot of people. I know that Jeremy was talking about this the other day on our stream about how Jedi Bunny, who he's had on the channel, great channel, great YouTuber, and about how she had fallen out of love with Star Wars, where she used to, like, her lifeblood was Star Wars, and because of everything Disney has done, she just fell out of love with it. And then all of a sudden, she was introduced to Clone Wars, because I think Jeremy actually sent her all the Blu-rays for it, or at least got her all the videos for it. And she started watching it, and from the first episode with Yoda, she was hooked. From the first episode, she was like, I love Star Wars again. Because to me, I honestly do believe this. Clone Wars was a show that didn't get as much attention as it deserved. And I think that for some people, obviously I came late to the game, but I could see why for some people, that's what kept their hope alive. That's what kept their love of Star Wars alive. There's a reason why that went for 6 seasons, To say, and it's so funny because people say, oh, Star Wars was in such a bad state. It was in such a terrible state before Disney took over. They had a show about Star Wars that ran for 6 seasons. I'm pretty sure that's pretty good. Most shows can't even get past 1 or 2 seasons. This went on for 6. And it really only ended once Disney took over. So it is interesting to me how all this works out and how they try to shift the blame and everything. But no, I totally agree. I think that the fact that they are still backing a Rian Johnson supposed trilogy, definitely should make us question anything they do from this point forward. Riv Magos, what's going on, good sir? He says, hello, Odin. I received my t-shirt. I'm flying the Odin's movie blog colors in Australia. Great to hear it, Riff Magos. So glad that you finally got it, man. That is awesome. Thank you for the $5 donation. And boom, I got my Aussie love in here. I got my Aussies from down under that are supporting the channel. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate your love and your support, and that is freaking awesome, man. Now, there are 2 Aussies that I know of that are wearing the Odin's Movie Blog shirt, and if you want to get your own shirt, Teespring links in the description, and I think that now I have it set up where there should be a banner on the page where you're watching right now where you can see the links for it for the Teespring. They're actually pretty cheap in comparison to other shirts. You can get the tri-blend one that's really comfortable for like $16, which is much cheaper. If you're a Phantom Menace supporter, if you like the Phantom Menace, the Phantom Collective, anyone a part of the broader YouTube community that we're all a part of, trust me, I have some of the cheapest merch out there. because I barely make any profit off of it. So if you want to support the channel that way, you can. And you get a really nice shirt for not that much, I would say. Let's see. Agoza Osula says, hey, Odin, how do you feel about influence of PC culture on entertainment nowadays? It's disgusting. And it's so tiring. It really is. I'm just so sick and tired of it. I just want to be able to watch TV and movies again and just be able to enjoy it. And some people try and say, well, then just do that and stop complaining all the time. But at the same time, too, if I don't add my voice to those that are speaking out, then all I'm doing is allowing for this giant void to continue, this giant void of good entertainment. And instead, it's going to be replaced with these identity politics shows. It's going to be replaced with this PC culture. It's going to be replaced with all of this nonsense. It's the same reason why I would rather support somebody like Dave Chappelle, who just totally turned everything, turned the tables over with his new comedy special because he went after everybody. And I love how he was always like, oh, they're going to go after me for this. And sure enough, they have. They've gone after him. They're now trying to cancel his series. They're now trying to cancel his relationship with Netflix. And it's disgusting because all he's doing is telling jokes. And we live in such a soft culture nowadays that you just can't even take a joke nowadays. It's ridiculous, And all the jokes that are being told are usually from one side of the aisle. So it's great to have someone like Dave Chappelle who is just going to make fun of everybody, who's not going to tell jokes from a political lens, but is just going to tell jokes from a comedic lens. To me, he's become more middle of the road, and I think that's what most of us are nowadays. We're tired of the crazy politics. We're tired of the madness. We just want good shows. We just want good shows and not something to be shoved down our throats. Jay Stowe says, any rumors on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? I mean, it was literally just announced at D23, so we're not really getting a whole lot from that. All I know is that the script was written, and I believe they've announced they're going to start filming early next year. So the filming won't start until early next year, meaning we probably won't get any of the Kenobi series until, I would say, earliest would be fall of 2020, which should be interesting because there is a certain election going on in the United States not too long after that. And so I really hope that the shows don't come out around the same time, because that companies like Disney and many others are going to try and put as many political ads and political points in their shows because they obviously want to try and sway things because they don't hide how they feel politically about wide variety of things when most people just don't give a damn. Most people just want to watch the shows that they love without being preached to. And that's why I'm going to continue to call it out, because it needs to be called out. Over on D-Lab, Captain Peabody says, there is a movie that has come out called The Naked Wanderer. Don't know much about the film, but it was filmed on location. Very cool. Captain Peabody also says, all the way up in Western Australia coast. Very cool. Nice. Will Gentry says, well, even the mighty Star Trek hasn't had a show run past 7 series, so 6 series is good for something that's not as big as E.G. Friends. Oh, for example, absolutely. Most shows can barely get past that point. In fact, the only shows that are really good that get to 5 seasons are the ones that want to end at 5 seasons. So it's interesting that the show went on for 6 seasons, and yet there are some people that try and act like Star Wars was in this dark time before Disney took over. No, the EU was going great. Novels were being written, original ideas and concepts and new characters and all these other things. Yes, none of it was connected necessarily. There were different stories that took characters in different directions, right? There was no real defined canon. And I think that's one thing that I think George Lucas could have been doing, is he could have said, go ahead and continue to have this kind of free reign, but try and keep it within these, these constraints, right? Try and, don't go and step on someone else's toes in the process. But to be honest, I'd rather have the chaos. I'd rather have people stepping on each other's toes and retconning and changing things for their own stories than the current canon that's in Star Wars right now, because the current canon sucks. The current canon is awful. I'd rather have chaos than something that's supposed to make sense when in reality, it really doesn't make all that sense. But no, you're absolutely right, Will. I honestly believe that show was very successful, despite what anyone wants to try and say about it. HyperX13 says, it can sound weird, but I've always imagined an Aragorn-like character with the new Star Wars movie as a Mandalorian who is Force-gifted and hasn't discovered his Jedi powers. Again, I think that you could do a lot with that. I think that there's a lot of things you could do with those characters, but Disney doesn't care about telling good stories, right? Hyra says, does my idea sound worse than what Disney and Lucasfilm is doing? Hell no. Anything sounds better at this point in time. Seriously. 70B says, it's spelled T'Challa. Wakanda forever. Yes, it's spelled T'Challa, yeah. It's a fun name to say, I can say that much. Mladen Kulik says, have you seen the Just Mercy trailer? I don't believe I have. Just Mercy. Let me see if I can see an image for that. No, I have not. I see Michael B. Jordan's in it. I don't know who this is. A powerful and thought-provoking true story. Just Mercy follows young lawyer Brian Stevenson and his history-making battle for justice. After graduating from Harvard, Brian might have led his pick of lucrative jobs. Instead, he heads to Alabama to defend those wrongly condemned. Well, that's pretty cool. With the support of local advocate Eva Ainsley. Oh, is that Brie Larson? No. Okay, Brie Larson's in it. Well, never mind. Oh, man. One of his first and most incendiary cases is that of a man in 1987 was sentenced to die for the notorious murder of an 18-year-old, despite a preponderance of evidence proving his innocence and the fact that the only testimony against him. Again, I like those kind of stories, right? Because I do think that our justice system can be broken. And I think that, trying to help prove people to be innocent, if they are innocent, is a good thing to have. But Lord, why did they put Brie Larson in that? So no, I've not seen that. I can only imagine how Brie Larson's performance in the trailer is. Mikey Wood says, "How about that Kenzie Taylor, huh? Hashtag Real Captain Marvel." I understand why other people are excited about it and think it's, are laughing about it and thinking it's funny and everything. But you know me, I'm just like, yeah. If it was a parody, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that it's more than just that, of course, have my issues. Lost Soldier says, "I won't miss Star Wars as I don't plan on spending money on Disney Plus." And Lost Soldier, it's been a while for you, man. So if you have any comments in the future, I just saw your name because I haven't seen you in a while. Just put Odin question, all one word, Odin question. It'll pop up orange for me, and those are the comments that I read because that way you don't have to worry about super chatting or anything like that. But it makes it easier for me because if I didn't have a system, I would be going insane every single night. Hybrid X13 says, "Sorry that this is out of context since this is a Marvel and Star Wars stream. Just sharing, I think it's cool that Joaquin's Joker is going to have a variety of laughs and not just one." How do you mean, Hyper? Have you seen it? Is that what you're trying to talk about? I do know that it won the prize over at the Venice Film Festival, so that's obviously very good for it as a movie, but it also adds to the discussion. Is it going to be a movie that's going to appeal to the public, or is it going to be strictly a critic and I don't know how else to describe it, but high ray is how my grandparents would usually. That's a high ray apartment. Just means like a fancy, right? Oh, just the fancy movie fans like, oh, this movie is Oscar bait is probably a better word there. So is it just going to be an Oscar bait film that happens to be dealing with comic characters, or is it going to be a film that ticks off all the boxes? I'm hoping for that. I want it to be that film that ticks off all the boxes. I want it to be a film that critics love because it's a good film, objectively, and audiences love because it tells a great story. And I just hope that it's not political. Based on the reviews I'm reading, it doesn't seem to be political, though of course I could be wrong because I haven't seen it yet and I can't speak for myself. Grandmaster Yoda says, "Do you think the new Star Wars saga after Episode 9 will go to Disney Plus to avoid flop? These films will have no chance to make profit at the theater." That's the thing. They have until 2022 is when the next Star Wars film is supposed to come out, and it's apparently going to be Benioff and Weiss. I think that Benioff and Weiss might not get that movie because of their new contract with Netflix. I think they signed for, $250 million with Netflix. So something tells me that that's going to be where their attention is. So I wouldn't be surprised if Disney says they're going to go off and do other things. They're doing other ventures. And so we're going to have to find a replacement for him. And then the big question is, do they then try and say, Rian Johnson, take over this? Or, go ahead and start your trilogy or not? And then if that is the case, do they really think that you're going to have Star Wars fans, especially the hardcore fans, a large chunk of them at the very least, who are going to definitely not see those movies because Rian Johnson's an asshat? It's going to be a great point, right? It's going to be a great question. So I don't know if it's going to do well. They're not going to move. Based on what they've told us so far, there are no Star Wars movies that are going to be going straight to the Disney Plus streaming service without going to theaters first. As far as new content, I wouldn't be surprised if that changes within the next few years. And it very well could be that they decide that first film coming out in 2022 gets moved to the network because they do have time to do that. That being said, I doubt it. Maybe, I would say it's probably going to be a little bit longer than just the next few years. So, Alice McCarthy says, "It's been a while since I've seen a True Romance. I remember Rastafarian Gary Oldman." I know, seriously. When I saw Gary Oldman, I was like, holy crap, why is he dressed as a Rastafarian, man? Never thought. Gary Oldman can play any character, including Rastafarian. Over on D-Live, Mr. Roy, thank you so much for your diamond and 5 ice cream. I appreciate everything over there. Thank you so much. Jay Roar, I saw your comment, man. Yeah, you just need to put Odin, just need to put @Odin over on D-Live. If you're on D-Live, @Odin. If you're on YouTube, Odin question, all one word. But I saw Odin. So J. Roar says, do you have any news on the Orville? I do not. All I know is that, of course, it's going to Hulu, which could be really good. Could also end up kind of ruining the dynamic of the show. Something tells me that it will be fine. I think that Seth MacFarlane has a full grasp and full ownership of the show, and that's, to me, the most important thing. So I think that's going to be pretty good. I think from the last time I heard also that filming has either started or will be starting early next year, and so it might still be a while. We might have to wait until late next year, probably at the earliest, to get some new Orville episodes, unfortunately. Gary is the one that's been covering Orville news a lot, so check out Nerdrotic's channel because he has all the inside stuff. He actually has an insider that gives him, he has an inside source that gives him information on those shows. Super says, oh, kind of random, but speaking of politics creeping into everything, did you finish Carnival Row yet? I binged it a few days ago. Interesting. I did. I finished Carnival Row, and my biggest thing was I liked the story. I didn't really think it was all that political because to me, it was more about immigration, a la, back during the time of Ellis Island, New York, and back during the time of old school UK where, people were immigrating from different places. So to me, it was more historical in that way, and I don't think it was doing as much on the nose politicking as some people might think. I think nowadays, anytime we see a story with immigration, all of us think about the present, but immigration has been going on for, decades, hundreds of, for centuries. And so I think that we sometimes kind of, go after things when we don't necessarily need to or have to. My biggest issue with the show, though, is the fact that there's too much. And I say this much. Every single sex scene in that show is completely unnecessary. It does not add anything to the plot. It does not add anything to the characters. And it's completely worthless. So instead of it being artistic, it's purely pornographic. And I have an issue with that, as you all know, because I'm always very clear with how I feel about things. I'm never going to hide the way I feel. That's just how I do. That is just how I do. All right, chat jumped on me, so if I missed your comment, I'm very sorry, but you know how I always fall behind. So it jumped to 7:10 p.m. in the chat. It's currently 7:26 where I am, so I'm about 16 minutes behind in the chat. So again, 16 minutes behind in the chat. And Blake Hemlow has the comment at 7:13 p.m. It says, if Episode 9 doesn't perform well in theaters similar to Last Jedi, what do you think after the aftermath will be? Who gets fired, who resigns, and who gets replaced? If Episode 9 flops, people are getting fired. I mean, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy's gone if it flops. I don't think it's going to flop. Keep in mind, a flop means it loses money. I don't see that happening. Now, underperforming, I think I could see a situation. I mean, again, my current range on the film is between $800 and $1.1 billion. That's my current range on it. And that could change the closer that we get to the movie once pre-sales happen. Because the news story is going to be, oh my gosh, this is the fastest selling film of all time. Similar to what we got with Captain Marvel. Similar to what we got with Solo Star Wars Story and all these other things. So I'm going to wait for that first and second weekend, right? Though that's when we find out. Raw, actual money, right? Actual reports, that's what we can better base things off of, and that's when we'll be able to tell what kind of money it's going to make worldwide. But just remember, Star Wars is notoriously poorly performing in China. Every Star Wars film that has come out since The Force Awakens has made less and less money. Yes, that means The Last Jedi, a big film, right, made $1.3 billion, barely made anything in China. And in fact, it made less. The Last Jedi made less in China than Rogue One did. And Rogue One only made around $1 billion. So the fact that China has pretty much turned itself off to Star Wars means that this film is not likely to make that much more than The Last Jedi. Could make less, could make a little bit more. And so because of that, $1.3 billion is kind of the cap of what it can make. Because if it doesn't have China, it doesn't have much of anything in the foreign market. And so even if it does well in certain areas, it still has that cap of $1.3 billion. And remember too that The Last Jedi was something that came out over time, and it took some people a little while to realize that they didn't like it, right? It took some time for them to say, wait a minute, this actually doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What in the hell were you thinking? Because all of a sudden they saw the hyperspace ram and they said, oh, it looks so beautiful. But then they thought about it, but wait a minute, why didn't they just do this in every other Star Wars film in history? And I think that because of that and the aftermath of that, that's what led to Solo. And I think that that's what eventually is going to lead to Episode 9 also underperforming in China too. And that's why a $1.3 billion profit or a $1.3 billion box office take is likely the cap of what it can possibly make. And that's why I'm between $800 and $1.1 billion personally. Zach Gregg says, the Roundhead trilogy will fail. I think so. Cobra Viper 999 says, toy sales were good before the dark times before Disney. Yes, that is very true. Cupcake Geek says, hello, Odin. It's really silly. I thought the trailer was great. Which trailer? What you talking about? Talking about Mandalorian, or what you talking about? Superfan Adam Shawhan says, the shirts are so comfortable. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Captain Winkster says, Odin, did you hear about the backlash about Drew Brees for a Christian ad he made? Yeah, I heard about it generally speaking. I'm not the biggest Drew Brees fan, to be perfectly honest. I think that people going after him for his Christianity is stupid and ridiculous. And I think that it's interesting that people can go after Christians and they're not seen as being, hateful of Christianity. You can do anything to Christians in today's world, right? You can do anything you want to Christians. No one will bat an eye. If you say anything about any other religion, if you say anything about any other race, oh my gosh, you are the worst person. But if you go after a white person, if you go after a Christian, boom, no problem at all. But that being said, I don't think that he should be going after. The reason why I don't like Drew Brees, though, is because the dude sat out for a $100 million contract. He's, again, someone that is very clear about his Christian faith. And if I was him, I would have been like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and take the money that, is going to get me by. I'm not going to try and bankrupt my team. Because guess what? He did. He bankrolled the team. The team couldn't afford any of the players, which is why they have not been back to the Super Bowl since. And they never will. Ever again. Just not ever again, but not under him. Not with him as quarterback. No chance. Tina says, we need to let them know they're making garbage. Even books are going down the crapper. You see all these 5-star reviewed of them people saying, what did I miss? That book was awful. Yeah, seriously, right? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how that all happens that way. Nesson says, I think there was something to JJ getting the hell away from Disney Lucasfilm before episode 9. He knows the movie is not going to be good and he wants to be away from their stench. He's effed up. Well, here's the thing. You would think that, but then also he's still the director. So his name is going to be attached to the film. So I don't think he's doing a good job if that's what he's trying to do. Alice McCarthy says, come to think of it, Revolution was produced by Jon Favreau and J.J. Abrams. That's interesting. Tina says, who wrote the script for this Kenobi show? Nope, not excited for it either. I'm not exactly sure on that. So, Kenobi series writer. Hold on. No, I want to go to IMDb. That's what I want to go to. IMDb. Let's see. All we know is Stephen Daldry is going to be the director, and it's going to be based off of, obviously, characters by George Lucas, according to IMDb. For those that want to know, Stephen Daldry is oh, man. Oh, man. Anyway, so this is Stephen Daldry's background. He did Billy Elliot in 2000. The Hours in 2002, I never saw that. The Reader, which I know got Oscar contention in 2008. But then he made a movie called Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, which was extremely dull and incredibly boring and just downright awful. So that dude is making it. He also made 2014's Billy Elliot. He also did 4 episodes of The Crown. He's apparently doing Wicked. Which is coming out in 2021. And then he will have the Mandalorian series as well, which is interesting. And again, there's no release date on that yet because I think the episodes are all written. But that could just mean that the storyboards are done or that the basic outlines for them are done. That might not mean that the actual dialogue and such has been written. So we don't know yet. Micah Martinez says, hey, Odin, how's your day? But it's been going just fine. Soul says, Disney era Star Wars is the dark time. Razor X says, luckily there are still some old shows you can find on YouTube. Want some recommendations? I'm going to say no, just only because I don't have time. There's already so many movies I need to watch and so many shows that I am watching or I'm waiting for new episodes for. So I would appreciate it. And I would say if anyone in the chat wants recommendations, it sounds like he's your man to go to. So Razor X is going to give you all some recommendations for shows. Tommy says, some of the Star Wars EU stayed within the established movie canon. Some didn't. The best stories from the EU were set in Old Republic era. Yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is that there were just so many great stories that have been decanonized, right? I would say that most people, from who I've talked to, and just these are the main books that I've read from the EU, would say that the Thrawn trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy, was some of the greatest writing, some of the greatest stories in the Star Wars canon. Those are no longer a part of the canon because obviously they decided to retcon what happened to Leia and Han's children. They decided instead of it being twins, now it's going to be, Ben Solo, right? That's the new thing. Kylo Ren. because Kylo Ren is somehow better than the stories that they did with those kids. Because I haven't even gotten into the stories yet where those kids are grown up and there's stories and there's chaos and didn't even get to that yet. But all that's not canon anymore because of Lucasfilm, Star Wars, or rather Disney Lucasfilm. Jay Stowe says, with the lifespan of TV series, it kind of makes it all the cooler with what Samurai Jack did and come back all those years later to finish off really good. Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, just because a series doesn't last long doesn't also necessarily mean it's not good either. Firefly is a great example. It's a great show, was on the wrong network. Fox didn't know what to do with it. They showed their episodes out of order at the worst time slot available. And they're like, oh, it didn't do well. Well, of course it didn't. You didn't even give it a chance. Of course it didn't do well. Come on, bruv. So there are some shows that didn't get a long life, right? 70B, thank you for letting everyone know how to contact me. Hyben says, haven't seen The Joker, but I think I heard that comment from somewhere in the review. Probably was IGN, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I kind of just, I'm done with IGN. IGN it can be really good. It can also be really bad. But when I think of IGN, I don't think of movie reviews, right? Lost Soldier says, cool, gracias, muchacho. No problem at all, man. Glad to see you back. Madden Kulik says, the only reason Brie Larson is in the movie is because of the director, who directed her in the Glass Castle and is directing upcoming Shang-Chi. Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's all about those connections, right? All about those connections. All right, over on D-Live, Captain Mr. Roy, thank you again for that diamond donation from a while back. I appreciate it. Will Gentry says, you say between $800 million and $1.2 billion, but look at Captain Marvel. I really think Disney might do the same and simply not allow it to fail. I mean, but here's the thing. We don't have... Okay. That's kind of getting into that conspiracy theory territory of them having bought seats for Captain Marvel. We don't really have proof of that yet. We can have suspicions, and we can point out the fact that they lied about their books for their theme parks. But them lying about the books for their theme parks is not the same thing as them buying tickets for a movie, right? And as I said before, they saturated the market for that film, and it was a new story, it was a new concept. So the normies were going out for it. The difference with Star Wars is that you have a film called Solo that lost money. So there is a history of a Star Wars film now no longer making money. And of course, that was the first film to come out in the wake of The Last Jedi. And we all know what The Last Jedi did to the fan base, right? The fan base has been pretty much split. Maybe not exactly 50-50, but I would say that the hardcore fan base has definitely been split in some capacity. What the percentages are, I don't know. But we all know there's a split. I mean, to deny a split is there, it would just not be accurate. And so because of that, yes, you might have normies, and the normies are still going to show up to Star Wars, but the hardcore fans, or at least a portion of the hardcore fans, are not going to show up. And that is what's going to lead to the films not reaching the same levels as the other movies, I think, right? That's what my own personal thought on that is. Will Gendry says, yeah, Christians are the straight white men of the religious world. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Stray Dog 65 says, the official reports are that Captain Marvel brought in $1 billion, but there are no sequels on the list. Is that $1 billion legit? Well, if you're talking about from the actual movie, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would definitely say so. Are we talking about like so you're talking about, never mind. They've sold 1.6, 1.7 billion units. Well, for one thing, there's this. Those are all estimates. But they don't have the actual raw numbers for it. So the way that the numbers works is, and it's actually the best way to do it, is it counts, or rather it has a number of how many total Blu-rays were sold and what the percentage of that market was for any given movie. And then they break that down, and then so they get estimates, right? So it probably has sold over 1 million units. But remember, there's now also like 3 million units that are sitting on the shelf collecting dust. So when you have those many, when you have those many units, when you have that much exposure, of course it's going to sell. I mean, again, it'd be like if you have an entire store filled with Captain Marvel memorabilia, guess what's going to sell more so than the one other non-Captain Marvel thing you have in the store? It's all about saturating the market, and they've become experts on doing that. Will Gendry says, yeah, but even if they don't buy tickets, they will flood the market the same way. This is an anthology film. Yeah, but also just remember, they had Solo, a Star Wars story, and they saturated the market for that, and it just didn't do well because no one wanted to see it. This one's going to make more because it is an anthology film, but that being said, I think it's 1.3 billion as a cap because of China. Seriously, look at the numbers for China, look at the history of Star Wars in China, and tell me I'm wrong. Go there. So more will go to that than what for Solo. Yeah, again, but China, that is the key. That is the giant key that you need to look at. Tommy says, wasn't there talks that Benioff and Weiss would work with Rian, as Nerdrotic says, on new Star Wars, or was that proven to be a false rumor? No, he's working with them. Basically, what Kathleen Kennedy has released is that Rian Johnson and them are working closely together. So whether that's basically Rian bringing them into the Lucasfilm family, or whether that's them actually working with him creatively, we don't know at this point. Cynical Centrist, thank you so much, Laura, for that $2 super chat. Says, for me, the best part of Thrawn trilogy was Luke and Mara. Oh yeah, their relationship was great. I mean, the fact that they went from utter hatred of each other into understanding and respect, and of course, eventually into romance, is truly amazing. It's a great character arc, and it doesn't just happen in one book either, and that's what I love about it, is that it takes time. It actually takes time to develop relationships, not just romantically, but also, of course, just general friendships too. That's something that very much could be, or is being lost now in modern films in general, not just to mention Star Wars. Jeremy Swig says, just got here because crappy YouTube didn't notify me whatsoever. Of course they didn't. Why would they? Make sure that bell notification is hit. Make sure that whatever, I think now you hit the bell. You have to hit the bell twice now. You hit the bell and then it gives you options. And it's like, what the hell's the point of this whole subscription service if you're not going to give notifications just for, subscribing in general? You should have to turn something off instead. Doesn't make any damn sense. Soul Assassin says, did you hear the rumor that Netflix might be ditching the binging of their shows? They did. That's actually a fact. They have ditched it. I know this because my wife and I are currently watching the Great British Baking Show, what used to be known as the Great British Bake Off. We love it. It's fantastic. It's great television. But yeah, we hate it because we used to binge watch that series because they'd always just release the entire series. But now we have to wait. Every Friday is when new episodes are dropped. And so now we have to wait every single week for a new episode to drop. So no, they've changed their system already. So be ready for that. If there's any shows you're looking forward to, guess what? They're going to start to do this once a week, unless they're going to change it. Again, obviously they could change their minds at any time. But as of now, they have ditched the binge service, or rather the binge model, as I can confirm. Nostalgia Network says, will you be getting Disney Plus or hoping it fails? I will not be getting Disney Plus because screw Disney, but I will try and still watch those shows. There are ways of watching the shows. There are ways of watching them. Allegedly, of course. Not officially, but allegedly. All right, chat jumped on me again. We're at 724 in the YouTube chat. At 725, wait, it didn't jump on me. Hold it. No, it didn't. All right, no comments were skipped. Perfect. So Bruce says, the Orville was the only new show I watched, is now death to me behind a paywall. Bruce, there are ways around it. That's all I'm going to say. Biffy Tannen, and also I would say Hulu, out of all the services, Hulu might be the better one to get because there's a lot of really good stuff on Hulu. Biffy Tannen says, do you feel the sex scenes in the new Captain at Marvel are necessary to the plot? Oh, Biffy Tannen. Nostalgia Network says, is there anything Star Wars coming out that you're actually excited for? So as I said, Clone Wars Season 7, I still have a modicum of excitement for, because I do love, it's, to me, I'm as excited for that as I was for Endgame. Remember that my modicum and my saying for Endgame was this: in the Russos do I trust. Until they let me down, I will trust them. Endgame, they let me down. So now I no longer trust the Russos with anything, because Endgame sucked. Same thing with Dave Filoni. Everything Dave Filoni has done in Star Wars has been great. Clone Wars was fantastic. Rebels was great. So if he continues on that same track, this season 7 of Clone Wars should also be great. If it's not, though, I will be one of the first to say it, because I will be keeping up with the show, I'll be keeping up with the series, and I will say if it's bad or not. So I trust in Dave Filoni until he lets me down. That's like with anyone, right? Until you let me down. And so I hope he never does. Orange Eye Review says, if the episode 9 theories of the use of time travel with the room between the world between worlds is called China will not like episode 9. They have a hatred for time travel, so I hear. That wouldn't surprise me all that much, but I don't know if time travel is going to play into it necessarily, based on the Reddit leaks that I read through the other day. It didn't sound like that was the case, but with that still being said, I think that what you're going to have is China rejecting it regardless. Because China has been rejecting Star Wars since everything else, really. I mean, go ahead and look at those numbers yourself. It has not done well in China. Yivo says, is The Mandalorian going to be on the Disney streaming service? Yes. If so, I wasn't going to see it anyway, not legally anyway. Allegedly, yes, of course. It is going to be on the streaming service. Of course. All right, over on DLive, Captain Dean Heiss says, executive producer at Marvel says Phase 4 is the first step to a more diversity in characters and franchises. Haven't we already started that? Yes, we have. But what that means is that they're going to double down on that and keep pushing forward. So if you didn't think that Phase 4 was phase woke, boom, an executive producer at Marvel has just confirmed that it will be. Thank you very much. Because again, there's nothing wrong with diversity, but forced diversity, that's different. Captain Dean Heiss says, Captain Dean Heiss, thank you very much for the 2 ice cream donation. I appreciate the ice creams over on DLive. Will Gentry over there says, it's still called the Great British Bake Off here. It's weird they changed the name for you. I think it's because... no, Will. They had to change the name because they're on a different channel. Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't hear about this? Yeah, that's why... the reason why they lost one of their co-hosts, Mary Berry, she's no longer on the show, and their original hosts were no longer on the show because they switched networks. And there was a whole thing behind the scenes. So no, it shouldn't be called that anymore. It's the Great British Breaking Show because I think BBC used to have it or used to own it or whatever the channel was that used to have it. That's the reason why they had to change the name. So I mean the old show might still be playing on BBC, but new episodes, it's called the Great British Baking Show because of legal reasons, because of legality reasons. All right, that's it over there. Cynical Centrist, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Says, after Kenobi, Disney Plus finishes Rebels Thrawn. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that could be pretty cool. That's definitely something that they could do. But again, if Dave Filoni's behind it, it has a chance. So I'm going to wait and see what they do. If Clone Wars Season 7 is good, and then they announce that Rebels Thrawn is going to get a conclusion, I would be excited for that. If Dave Filoni's behind it. And again, it all depends on him finishing Season 7 the way he should. Riff Magos, thank you for the $5 donation through Streamlabs, saying, Timothy Zahn and Claudia Gray, keep my love of Star Wars alive. The only new film character I like is the droid in Rogue One. Oh yeah, K2SO is great. And the reason why K2SO is great is because it's voiced by Alan Tudyk, who is a wonderful actor and also a wonderful voice actor as well. So, yeah, I agree with you there. And I haven't read any of Claudia Gray's yet, but I've heard great things about her work, too. So it's definitely on my list of things to see. Super Anime Gamer says, regarding Carnival Row, good points. I read the creators used Irish history for inspiration, which makes a ton of sense to me. I suppose it's the media and actors who politicized it. Oh, absolutely. I mean, because that's just what they do. They always politicize everything, right? But yeah, the fact that the fairies, most of them seem to have a Scottish-Irish accent, it's definitely reminiscent of the old school immigration, right? Jeremy Swig says, they don't want to hear from Christians because they don't want to feel guilty by the truth. Boom! That's a truth bomb. Sticky V says, something else. Any interest in ancient Egypt or megalithic structures? Just wondering. Not really. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. It's not my cup of tea. Tina says, I've heard of The Reader, didn't care for the plot line, saw Billy Elliot forever ago, and The Hours I had no interest in, Oscar winner or not. Thank you. No problem at all. Yes, so there you go. Now you know who's going to be behind that series. Nesson says, I have a feeling at some point that JJ will say something offhanded in an interview about not having the freedom he wanted with Star Wars. By that time, KK Ryan Iger will be fired or retired. I really don't. I think that his hands are in the cookie jars of every single franchise at this point, that he can just do whatever he wants and he will not be touched. He does not have to. That's the other thing, too. He doesn't have to do that. Hyman says, if you make another video with Ryan Johnson or an SJW, place the ass hat text on their forehead. Love that, Odin. Okay. We'll see, man. We'll see. Lost Soldier 212 says, so if Ruin Johnson and D&D link up, how much do you think Disney could lose? Oh, billions. Tina, thanks for letting them know how to contact me. RazorX says, IGN is awesome with their April Fools. Oh, are they? Cool. Yeah, again, I don't really read them that much because they mostly do gaming content, right? So that's why for me, it's not the first place I go to for movie reviews. Nostalgia Network says, the Alita poster behind you, what kind of poster format is that? It doesn't look like it has a frame. No, it's not. So it's from a site called Displate, which actually I have an affiliate link for. If you're interested, they're made of metal. Let me go ahead and grab one. So literally, it's a magnet. So yeah, they're pretty nice. So Now for a sponsor. No, obviously it's, you don't have to do anything because it's still free. But anyway, yeah, this is a metallic poster of Alita Battle Angel. It's pretty badass. This is the medium size. The large is pretty much the standard poster size. Extra large is even bigger than that. But because it's metal, it literally just sticks to the wall like a magnet. And they're awesome. So I have this, and of course I've got my John Wick poster as well. So yeah, they're pretty cool. Now I'm going to be freaking out if it's not level. So I'm sure there's going to be like at least one person in the chat that's like, it's not level. It's not level. But thank you for asking. Hybrid X13 says, my only question is, why hasn't anyone made woke Red Eyes meme with C-3PO in that D23 Rise of Skywalker? I think some people have, Hybrid. I know I've seen at least one or two. Jeremy Swig says, now that Disney controls Fox and therefore Alita, do you think Disney will fudge their DVD numbers to make Captain Marvel look better? No, I don't think that. And also, just for the record, they don't own Alita. The IP is owned by James Cameron. The distribution rights are owned by Disney, right? So Disney is the one behind the Blu-ray DVD sales because obviously they own Fox. But as far as IP goes, that is something that is still owned by James Cameron. James Cameron could technically, if he wanted to, bring the property elsewhere. He could say, we're going to do a sequel over at this studio. He's not, because he wants that Disney money for his Avatar crap that he's working on for, 5,000-6,000 more movies. So it's not, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, could they do it? Yes. Will they do it, or are they doing it? We don't know. We don't have any proof of that yet. It's all speculation, and I'm going to wait until we actually get some real-life proof before anything else. Before I say anything about it, right? Cynical Centrist says, in the Thrawn trilogy, I also love how kind Leia was to Mara. I think Leia and Luke's understanding and empathy for Mara saved her. Oh, for sure. Because her entire mind had been twisted by the Emperor to think of the Jedi in a certain way. And once she realizes that the Jedi are actually extremely understanding and are not going to force her to do anything, but are actually going to be there and show her love and kindness, that's, I think, definitely something that changes her mind and her heart, which is why those stories are so good. Because love conquers the day, as it should. As it should. Over on DLive, Will Gentry says, yeah, it went to Channel 4 and Mary Berry left, so Channel 4 has all of the episodes now, but it's still called Bake Off as far as I know, and I don't watch it, so I can't say for sure. Yeah, I just checked my TV guide. It's still called Great British Bake Off here. No name change. That's odd. Well, here's the thing. Are you sure those are new episodes? I'm assuming that they are, but I would check and see. Because also, I think the current season is... I think it's a Netflix exclusive. I could be wrong on that, though. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's not. No, I guess it'd be still showing in the UK, too. I wonder if they just get released at the same time or if they've already been released. I don't know. Alex McCarthy says, 4 things that irritate me about Disney Star Wars are no Ben Skywalker or Jaina Jason or Anakin Solo. I know, seriously. There are so many characters. There are so many kids and children in the series that they could have done so much more with. Super says, personally... and on a practical level, I agree with Nerdrotic that the binge model isn't sustainable, but as a fan, I love the option. Oh, I agree. And that's why I think that you still have the option, right? You could wait and, for the series to end and avoid spoilers, which of course no one's going to do, and then just binge them all the episodes all you want. Or find an old show that you can binge watch all you want, because obviously those seasons are still available. But no, it is sustainable, right? It's the only sustainable model that they have, because if you release it all at once, people talk about it for a week or two, and then it's done. Look how big Game of Thrones got. Game of Thrones got big because every episode felt important up until the very end, right? And so having that same model and having that same mindset of Netflix will probably end up benefiting them. Now, of course, they still have to make good shows, and they still have to do it right, and Netflix needs to, I think, make it more clear what they're doing instead of just changing it, because they didn't tell anybody. They didn't have anything pop up saying, by the way, our terms are changing, or the way that we release stuff. They may have had a press release. I don't know. But I think that most people aren't really reading press releases and would rather just see something pop up in their service saying, by the way, you'll notice that shows are no longer being released all at once. I think that would be the best way to do it. Layden Kulik says, what is going to happen to small or mid-budget movies now that Disney owns Fox? You're still going to see them happen. But I mean, just look at the box office. Movies that aren't run by Disney or the major studios don't make any money for the most part. And in fact, I posted an article today on Twitter where basically they announced the winners. So Forbes.com did its winners of 2019. And of course, Disney was on top, and it made well over $2 billion here just in the US. Number 2 on that list was under $1 billion from all of its films, from 9 films, under $1 billion. And it was Sony. Half of that money came from Spider-Man. So what that means is about out of 8 films, that's not including Spider-Man, Sony was the second place studio this year and only made around $400 million for 8 films. That's abysmal. That's awful. Disney made profits on almost every single movie they made this year. And that, to me, is why Disney terrifies me. Because I think Disney is what's going to kill the movie industry. Because only their films make money. Everything else is left in the dust. Everything else is left to pick up the pieces, and people aren't drawn to the theater anymore. And because Disney keeps saturating the market, especially the foreign market, I think that violations of antitrust might actually be going on. Alex McCarthy says, you mean I have to wait a week between each episode of The Ranch on Netflix? Lame. I don't even know what that show is. Tina says, I knew the Russos would get orders from above, and now they're saying it was hard shoehorning Mabel into the movie. They're coming clean about it now. Yeah, but they're also still defending their time travel nonsense. So I'm not going to give them, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Tina says, why is Mary Berry no longer on the show? I loved her dynamic. I did too. It's because she was, so because it went to Channel 4 over on the UK, hopefully you heard by this point, because obviously this is still back in time. I'm still like 10 minutes behind in the YouTube chat. It was because she had a loyalty to BBC, and since it was no longer on the BBC, she decided to leave. So the 2 people they have now have a weird, interesting dynamic. One of them is Noel. I don't know his last name, but he's supposedly a comedian. He's funny some of the time, but definitely not anything like that. Yeah. Bruce says, I too believe in Dave Filoni. Looking forward to season 7. Me too. Until he lets me down, I believe in Dave Filoni. Mir Jeremy says, sorry I'm late, bro. No problem at all. Let's see. Photo Guy says, the Great British Bake Off had to change its name in the USA because Pillsbury was not open to the show using its original British name. Ah, okay. Well, that helps to make a little bit more sense. I would have assumed that it would have been because of the other reasons. Because of the fact that it got bought by another network. Aiden Vickery says, I think in the UK, it is still the Great British Bake Off. Yeah, so we've gone over that now. Single Centrist Laura, thank you so much once again for a $5 super chat. Says, I loved Claudia Gray's Lost Stars. Goes from Alderaan to Battle of Jakku. 2 friends, male and female, who ended up on opposite sides of the war. A love story. Oh, okay. So because Battle of Jakku, does that mean that it's from the Disney run canon? So that's awesome that there are at least a couple writers still in Star Wars that can still write good stories under the under the banner of Disney. Cool. Cynical, Centrist, Laura, go ahead and put that over on our group chat on Twitter. So that way I can try and find that later. See if I have an app called Scribd where you get audiobooks and such. It's like $6 a month and you get unlimited access to whatever they have available. And they have a lot of Star Wars content. I've fallen behind on it because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately. I go through periods. Like there was a time when I was listening to political podcasts every single day. Now I'm listening to faith-based podcasts every single day. For a while, I was also into wrestling podcasts, and I'm kind of gone back and forth with that. It's crazy. I have legs, says someone. Yeah, seriously. Jeremy Swig says, thank goodness Odin remembered pants tonight. I always wear pants. I'm not like those weirdos that don't wear pants. I don't understand that. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. All right, let's see. Chat is moving. It has moved on me. There we go. Mikey Martinez says, I watched Star Wars A New Hope with my bro. Great film. That's why I've been silent. No problem at all, Mikey Martinez. Not at all. Venom Broly 1993 says, where did Toy buy the Alita magnet poster? Oh, where did I buy it? So it's a site called Display. Use my affiliate link because then it helps the channel if you buy one. Also, if you use my promo code Odin, ODIN, at checkout, you'll save 15% off your order and off any and all orders. And I think right now there's actually even a larger discount offered site-wide. You'll see it when you go to the website in the top. They always have their promos up there. I recommend it. They're very high-quality posters. I've got 3 large ones, actually, that I still haven't hung up yet because for me, I'm like, do I really want to hang it up just so that I have to take it down eventually at some point? But no, they're very high quality. I like them. Razorx says, case in point, IGN's live-action Legend of Zelda movie trailer, I was fooled by it. That's right. I forgot they did that. Man, I was fooled by it too. I remember that when I remember when that happened. Random Nerd of Doom says, was J.J. Abrams ever a good director in his life? Ever, or did he create anything original? I heard he created Alias. I don't know if that's good or bad series. I haven't seen Alias myself. I actually like some of JJ's stuff. I like Super 8. Yes, he borrows from Spielberg. Yes, some could even say he steals from Spielberg's vision. But it's also, in a lot of ways, its own film. And I like the dynamic of the characters. I like the kids in the film. I think they're all well cast. And I think anyone that doesn't like it is fine, right? They're all fine if you don't like it. But yeah, I'm not a total hate on JJ person. I think that JJ has made a lot of mistakes in his time, especially with Star Wars. But overall, I would say that there's a couple films I can think of that I would actually say are not that bad. Mary Mayhem, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Says, hail the Allfather and his beautiful beard. Well, thank you, Mary Mayhem. Make sure you subscribe to Mary Mayhem's channel. She is awesome. She is great. Also, the Mr. Pete channel needs 700 subs. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, notice every new Disney Star Wars white male is a baddie. Well, yes, but I would say not every single one, right? For example, you had a character that was completely wasted. You had a character that was, I'm blanking on her name because she was so underused. Captain Phasma. She was not a white male. She was a female. She was a lady. But they didn't even use her. They had the Gwendolyn Christie. They had the perfect actress playing her where she could have been a badass. If she had punched somebody out, male or female, I would have believed it. Because the woman looks like she can kick someone's ass. That's why we bought her character in Game of Thrones, because she looked like she could kick someone's ass. Instead, what do they do in Star Wars? They make a 16-year-old skinny girl. Oh my gosh, she can kill, she can whoop grown men's butts. No, that's not realistic. That's completely unrealistic. Stop it, please. Oh, please stop. But thank you, Mr. Pete. I appreciate it, man. 70B says, where did you get the Alita poster? Details for the peeps, please. I explained it as I was showing it. So again, Displate, do the link in the description. Don't look out for it. Help the channel. If you're going to buy something, help the channel if you can. Oh, man. Anyway, Robert Frey says, Alita Blu-ray sales took a 68% drop in the fourth week. Kind of bummed about that. Oh, wow. Because it was actually doing pretty well with small, like 30 to 40% drops week to week. But it sounds like it has now taken a much bigger one. So let me see what the numbers market's saying right now, because I know that this updates weekly. Oh, yeah, it dropped out of the top 3. Wow. Yeah, and again, I'm not going to... Let's see. Where did it go in the fourth week? So right now, the daily domestic chart... Oh, but is that the weekly Blu-ray chart? No, the weekly Blu-ray chart... There it is. Yeah, it drops. So it's in the top 6. It's in the top 6. So obviously, yeah, Avengers Endgame. So, by the way, fun fact: Avengers Endgame in its first week has now sold as many copies as Captain Marvel has in the entirety of its run. Oh my God! But Captain Marvel's the best movie ever, dude. No, Avengers Endgame is gonna make crap tons of money, no question about it. Detective Pikachu's done pretty well. Captain Marvel. Oh my God! Look, Captain Marvel's in the top 3. Take that, haters. Yeah, 1.8 million units. Versus 1.7 million units. So in 12 weeks, it sold 1.8 million units versus 1 week, Avengers Endgame, 1.7 million. Oh, yeah. Great job. Good job. Alita Battle Angel, though, of course, I'm not going to mince any words, has not sold nearly as well as either of those films. It has sold 555,000 units. It's made 13.5 million, though. And that's just in the U.S., right? So I think if you take all worldwide totals, I would say it probably has hit the $30 million mark. And so, therefore, it's profitable. And I would say that's going to make some money. Or it's been profitable at this point, right? Bivi Tannen says, the first movie SJWs complained about in mass was Avatar, which is kind of weird to me because that's one I feel like they would love because of Unobtainium. Unobtainium? Alex Garley says, speaking of John Wick Chapter 3 comes out on physical media on Tuesday. I think that will be an epic belated 5-year anniversary of me and the wife's first date present. Oh, that's awesome, Alex McCarthy. My version shipped. So I should get my steelbook of that pretty soon. And for anyone that won the giveaway, make sure that you check yourselves because I think Best Buy recently shipped those orders out because, yes. And for those that don't know, there's actually, I don't know if they're still there or not. I think it was kind of a pre-release stuff. But oh my God, Best Buy actually had a pretty cool deal. For like $40, you got the steelbook, but also you got a mini steelbook. Look at this thing. It's made of metal. And it's beautiful. And it came with this little card. And don't worry, the code's already been used. But they put the code on this card. And it just looks freaking badass, man. I want all movies to have something like this. Because now I want to have like a little mini steelbook collection, right? I think they should probably put more stuff in there. But no, it was really cool. I can't wait to get it in. That's going to sell like crazy. Grandmaster Yoda says, Alita has earned a place on the wall in all homes, but it's time for Captain Woke to go for the floor. Yeah. And it's still on the floor behind me. I actually don't even have it to throw anymore because it's behind me. But I have something from Bruce to show in a second. Orange Eye Review says, Mara was sent a strong subliminal message from Palpatine before he died, commanding her to kill Luke Skywalker. And of course, his anti-Jedi propaganda influenced her as well. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a big part of the book, right? You will kill Luke Skywalker. Because obviously I listened to the audiobooks, which is even better. All right, back over to D-Live. I'm a little bit behind, which is a rare thing. I'm usually not behind on D-Live. What's going on, my peeps over there? Will Gentry says, yes, they were brand new ones, so I don't know why. Guess it was a licensing thing. Yeah, so that's what we decided over there. Photo Guy over there says, the Great British Bake Off had to change its name. Thank you. Don't double post, guys. Don't double post. If you're going to leave a post on YouTube or D-Live, pick one. Don't be the double posting guy. It drives me crazy. You're either in the D-Live fam or you're not. And if you're not, you're in the YouTube fam. Either way, you're loved. But don't try and double dip. Captain Dean Heist says, have you given your Captain Marvel chew toy to the dogs yet? No, I have not. I have not given it to the dogs yet because I wanted to show it to y'all to see before and then after. I'm going to try and get some filming of it too when I have the time. Captain Dean Heist says, but Rey is the bestest ever. Yes, she's the bestest ever. Will Gender says, if you consider the box office numbers, these are good sales figures for the Alita Blu-ray. Now, again, absolutely. If you compare it to how much it sold versus how much it cost in theaters, it's actually, percentage-wise, it is very good sales for it still. It's not as good as we thought it was going to be. It's not as good as we'd hoped it would be, but yeah, for sure. Where Nerdu says, I heard, yeah, so he's talking about the Harry Potter books being banned. So it was literally one school in Tennessee that decided it was one school. It's like some people are kind of overblowing it a bit. It's one school. My own diocese, the bishop of my diocese, had already come out with a letter saying we're not going to ban it because there's nothing wrong with it. And obviously, I don't think that the priest is going to win in that because I think that there's going to be enough of a backlash where he's going to have to back off from it. He's well intentioned. So I do have the back of the priest in this way. He's well intentioned. He's thinking that it's going to have an influence that is going to be, and again, I understand where he's coming from, but I think that he's way off base. Co-River says, Bake Off was lost by the BBC. They were cheap with a new contract offer, so Channel 4 bought it. Yep. Venom Broly says, Star Wars Episodes 4, 5, and 6 were nice. I really hope one day they will do a sequel to those movies, but I guess it will never happen. Not in the way that we want or deserve. Study V says, it's spelled abysmal. Gotcha. Jace Doe says, that is the one thing since Disney owns Fox, will they have to go to another studio to do a sequel? Again, because of the fact that you have James Cameron owning the rights to it, he's not going to another studio because he's doing Avatar with Disney. Avatar is what's controlling everything. Jeremy Swig says, binge watching can be great, but I wouldn't mind weekly drops. Younger people today don't know the excitement of waiting to see the next episode. I agree with that. Venom Broly says, we don't need the @ when we write @ Odin question. No, you don't. Just Odin question, Venom. Just Odin question. If those letters in that order appear at any point, it pops up orange. Meaning you could have a long, random, fake word, and as long as Odin question is at some point of that word, it will pop up orange for me. Tina says, I'm not giving them any ground by saying it had shoehorning Mabel in. I'm glad they said it, but they lost me a long time ago. Yep. Random Notre Doom says, who would you rather hang out with, a Scientologist or an SJW? Neither. I'm not even going to, no, I'm not, screw that. Neither. Please. You must be kidding me. JKD Buck, what's going on, good sir? Tina says, thank you for letting them know how it goes. Nostalgia Network says, I don't think The Rise of Skywalker will hit $1 billion. What do you think? I'm still between 800 million to 1.1 billion. That's my range. And that's based off of what The Last Jedi did, what China seems to be indicating about their love of Star Wars, or rather their dislove of Star Wars, etc. Single Gender says, Lost Stars is a kissing book, but it focuses on themes like friendship and loyalty. A kissing book? I like your Princess Bride reference there. That's fantastic. Hypern says, so have you seen Princess Mononoke yet? Sorry if I've asked this 10 times and it's annoying. I've not seen it yet. Sorry, Hypern. Oh, man. I'm so far behind. As you all know, I'm so far behind in everything. Jeremy Swig says, if you can't answer for her, it's fine. But I was wondering if you know what's up with Greta. We were trying to support her, getting her channel getting more, but nothing for a while. Yeah, she just had a lot going on. She's fine, by the way. I've talked to her since then, and she's doing okay. It's just a lot going on, and she just didn't have the ability to continue to upload. I'm gonna try and push her to upload though, because I love her stuff. And as I said, I love supporting my community. I love supporting our community, and she's definitely an awesome person. So I think that her content was great, and I hope that she comes back. Mark Lazarth, what's going on, bro? Long time no see. We got us a wrench from over on Nerdrotic. Thank you for being here, man. It says, wait until you reach 40. Then you will understand not wearing pants. I don't know. It's kind of like that thing where I'm weird, though. For example, I always wear socks. Like, not to bed, but like in any other place, I always wear socks. Right now, I'm wearing shoes. Sometimes I'll take it off and it's more comfortable, but I'm weird like that. Alice McCarthy says, what about those weirdos that wear pre-ripped soy jeans? Oh, you mean like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers? You mean like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, that toxic white male? Yeah, seriously, pre-ripped jeans. What a soy boy. What a soy boy. Hi, Princess. There's no need to wear pants. Harambe never wore one, so to be a part of his cult would be an accomplishment. In Harambe we trust, yes. Cynical Center says, Super 8, Pilot of Lost, and the first Star Trek were good. Yeah, I agree. I actually did like the first Star Trek. Yeah. Into Darkness definitely went off the rails a bit. And the third one wasn't terrible either. It was better than Lost. It was better than Into Darkness, that's for sure. But yeah, I love Super 8. Super 8 was great. I've never seen any episodes for Lost, so I might need to see the pilot of that show. And yeah, I would defend the first Star Trek. Oh boy, Cynical Centrist, thank you for the $10 super chat with song. I did it so you can take those cookies and stick them up your What song is that? Cynical Centrist, I would sing it. So the lyrics are, I did it all for cookies, the cookies. So you can take those cookies and stick them up your Stick them up your What song is that? I'm not picking up the song. Just put it in the regular chat. And I should be caught up soon, hopefully. We'll see. JJ, what's going on, man? Hybrid says, I forgot tomorrow, Lord of the Rings Towers playing re-release when I'm in Georgia. Can't wait to watch it. Nice. Hybrid says, how is It Chapter 2 doing at the box office? I have not checked the box office for this weekend, but I imagine it's doing well. 37.4 million Friday. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. I would say the reviews could be better, but box office-wise, it's doing okay. Random Nerd Doom says, I finally saw Cobra Kai. When will season 2 be streamed on free on YouTube? I love the shows. It might not ever be on free. I think they did it for free because they were trying to get more people to buy their service. To say, look, here's a great show. Buy our service so that way you can get season 2 and season 3. So I don't think it's happening. Orange Hat, Cloverfield had an inspiration from Godzilla, but was pretty good. Thoughts on it? The first Cloverfield I loved. Yeah, I actually it was a found footage film done right. I actually loved 10 Cloverfield Lane. It had nothing to do with Cloverfield until the very end, where it was kind of shoehorned in, because I think it was one of those scripts they just picked up and decided to adapt to their universe. But I still think it worked. Cloverfield Paradox, on the other hand, sucked, which is sad. Mir Jeremy says, this is off topic, but did you ever read Fahrenheit 451? I had to read it for school back in 10th grade book, but was okay. The movie sucked. I've never read or seen it. Random Nerd says, we should tell John Wick that Disney took his dog. Cobra599 says, check out the channel, Doc Ido. They have some great... Oh, yeah. Doc Ido is a great Alita channel. No question about it. He does good stuff. I want him to do a little bit more, though, right? Because as much as I love Alita, I think that if he wants to continue to grow and expand, he needs to add on more to it than just covering the Alita news box office. Or rather, the Blu-ray news, because it's slow news. It's a slow news cycle for it. Orange Eye Review says, did you know Jim Cameron stole unobtainium from another movie called The Core? Oh my God, you're right. I forgot about that. The Core is so cheesy, but overall, I kind of like it. Okay, let's see. 70B says, yeah, thanks for letting them know. Random Nerd Doom says, we should call up Area 51 and tell them that one of their aliens escaped with his name Ryan Johnson. No. JKD Buck says, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Odin question. Yep, showed up there. Showed up in that. Hyphen says, an SJW would complain why your name wouldn't appear in rainbow colors as Odin question. Orange Man Bad. I do love that it shows up as orange. That's fantastic. Nostalgia Network says, I need to get into a good series. Any recommendations? TV? Book? What do you mean? Orville is fantastic. I recommend it. Let's see. I love Stranger Things. It's a great show. It's a pretty standard response at this point, I would say. Nothing groundbreaking there. If you've never seen Firefly, old school show, I recommend that. 70B says, do you still have that list of stuff to watch and read? It must be long. I lost that list a while back. I know it's somewhere. It's on one of my writing pads. I just have no idea where it went. Jeremy Adler says, while I get you keep count of DVD sales, aren't people more buying digital these days? Does that count? They do. It's just much harder to keep track of. So from what I can tell, I'm trying to see here. Where is it? Alita Battle Angel. It's so hard to keep. Yeah, so they just do DVD and Blu-ray sales. It's harder to keep track of online digital sales. Most people do buy movies online now, right? And it's much harder to keep track of that. But yeah, that's the case. Random Nerd says, what if someone did a Yoda fan film but made it rated R? It wouldn't work. It wouldn't be Star Wars then. I don't think it would be Star Wars. Bruce says, the only thing worse than pre-ripped jeans are skinny jeans. Yes. Pre-ripped skinny jeans. Now that is something awful. Cynical Centrist is laughing. I don't know what the lyrics are supposed to be to. Nookie is the song. Oh my God. I actually don't know. I've heard of the song Nookie, but I don't know the rhythm to Nookie. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Limp Bizkit. I did it all for cookies, the cookies, so you can get the cookies and stick them up your yeah. I have no idea if that's the thing or not. My album for Limp Bizkit, because there was only one album that I ever really got into, and that was Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. So let me try and see if I can. I'm gonna think. I don't think I can make it work in that rhythm. Cynical, if you can think of another song that works with those lyrics, just put it in the chat. Michael Wood says, okay, got that one. All right, thank you. That's funny. Have you ever seen Star Wars channel Generation Tech? No, I have not. Theo says, Joker has won Best Film at Venice Film Festival. Thoughts? Yeah, I mentioned it at the very beginning of the stream, and it makes sense to me because it got an 8-minute standing ovation, so I assume that it would do that well. And I would say, once again, that kind of just brings in that same concern that I've had, is it going to be an Oscar bait critic film, or is it going to be a worldwide juggernaut? Or is it going to be somewhere in between? I'm kind of hoping it's somewhere in between. Bruce says, The Core is a fun watch. It is a very fun watch. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun watch. Hybrid says, I really pray that there will be no casualties from this Area 51 event. When was it again? September 20th? Yeah, end of September. But the creators of the event have actually now turned it into a festival. So what I'm hoping is that more people just show up to have fun, chill, etc., and no one actually tries to bum rush the base. And I think that it's going to be such a small number. I would not be surprised if the government gets cops to show up, so that way they can just arrest anybody. So that way no one gets hurt. Unless, of course, they resist arrest or something. And then we have a double comment. Don't double comment, Theoa. You're better than that. You know that I'm always behind the chat. You've been in here before. You know how it goes. You know I'm always behind the chat. Come on. Alice McCarthy says, shows that I would recommend are Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That is a great show. Mayans MC, never seen it. And somebody would agree with me on the one Sons of Anarchy. I've actually never seen Sons of Anarchy. I've heard great things about it, though. Random Nerd says, I love Star Wars, The Old Republic as Star Wars canon because I get to be the main character in that game and force choke fools. Zabi says, Jug her not? Isn't he an X-Men? Yes. Mirror Jeremy says, I'm taking the Joker praise with a grain of sand because of The Last Jedi getting all the same praise leading up to the release. Yeah. I think that we should definitely take it with a grain of salt. No question about it. Back over to D-Live, Will Gentry says, hey, I still want that Captain Marvel Blu-ray. I'll add it to my collection where I'll gather dust and never get watched. Will Gentry says, I think that pastor is well-intentioned, just misinformed. It's only one pastor, so it's really hard to be a scandal. It's not. It's amazing to me that the media is turning it into such a big scandal, right? Because he is well-intentioned. It's not going to work out for him. And I think that most other people recognize that fact, right? Mostly Catholics look at that and say, no, don't do that. If you tell people don't do something, it just means they're going to do it. Captain Peabody says, when are you going to release the baseball caps? Don't be an asshat. Ooh. I don't know if Teespring has hats yet, but if they ever have a hat, one day, maybe. I have to get a design for it, though. Captain Peabody says, even an OMB hat would be good. Expand the merch. Yeah, it's really about getting together with Freya, because she's my designer. Unless someone does freelance and can do a really great design as good as hers. So, Margin Betul, what's going on? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Biffy Tannen says a dramatic reading of Nookie by Limp Bizkit. Yeah. Biffy Tannen, thank you for the 2 ice cream. I appreciate it. Photo Guy says in the 1950s, titanium was known as unobtainium during development of a spy plane as Lockheed. Nice. Very cool. Techno MTA, thank you for the follow over on DLive. Tina, thanks for letting them know how it goes. Jeremy Swiggs says, let me change the subject for a moment to knowledge the Buckeyes winning 42-0 tonight. That is all. Damn. JJ, what's going on, man? Says, YouTube removes the paywall on Cobra Kai this month. All seasons plus new ones will be free with ads and 1 episode week going forward. Premium service gets all episodes on day 1. Oh, is that really how it breaks down, JJ? Can you send me the article on that? Because I want to read it myself. Oh, sorry. But thank you for that information. Random Nerd says, Disney should just make all the main characters in Star Wars aliens and robots so we don't have to deal with this annoying diversity anymore. Hybrid says, look, I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of Todd Phillips' filmography. However, I love that he comments that character study movies are rare things nowadays. No, and I'm fine with it. Like, to me, I'm very excited. I have very high hopes for Joker. I'm very high on the Joker right now. I think it's going to be fantastic. But then again, I also admit there's a chance that it could tremendously disappoint me and many others. Chris Collins says, have you seen the Dark Crystal series yet? I got 10 minutes in and was already checked out. And the reason why is because it's made for kids. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was made for kids, and I'm not a kid anymore. And I just couldn't get into it for that reason. Now, good things are the puppetry is amazing because it's the original puppetry, right? They didn't change that. They didn't make it CGI, which is great. But because of the fact that this is based off a movie from the 80s, and they haven't updated anything with the technology. So when you have the puppet speaking, it's still the same style of puppet from the 1980s speaking, and they could have done so much to make it look more realistic when the puppets were talking, and they didn't. I know that might be a nitpick, but for me, it's like, no, I need to get something more in order to dive further into it, so I couldn't get past it. Signal Center says, my favorite news show is on NBC, MILF Island, 25 super hot moms, 58th grade boys, no rules. Wait, what? Oh, I hope not. 8th grade. Wait, what? No, that can't work. That's illegal. 8th grade? I don't know if that's what? No, that can't work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. That's illegal. That's illegal. Jeremy Swix and disturbing. It's illegal and disturbing. Cynical. What have you done? What have you done? It's like you've killed younglings. Jeremy Swiggs. Hashtag pray for Odin's nose. Darn microphone. Yeah, seriously. It got in my way. Do you think a woke Mandalorian can hurt episode 9's box office? It could. Potentially. Biffy Tannen, thank you for the ice cream over on DLive. Phonemo, it's been a while, man. Hope you're doing fine. Captain P-Bye says, by the way, Adam found Tim Tams at the store, but you guys have different color packaging. Yeah, I've been told by my Valkyrie as well. That it's existing in the United States. So anyway, all right, so we got to start wrapping things up. But before I do, got to give a huge shout out to Bruce because Bruce sent me a couple of items. So let me give you the before of this particular item. If you watched the Nerdrotic stream last night, you'll know exactly what this is. But this is a new dog toy. It's something that my dogs will be able to chew on. And I'll have to double check and make sure there's nothing toxic in here because... Oh, wait. Oh, there's beads in here. Bruce, I might not be able to give this to them. Because if they swallow those beads, it might not be good. So I'll have to double check and see what the materials are. But anyway, if not, I'm sure we'll find something creative to do with it, right? And that is that there is indeed now, I have a Captain Marvel doll. Because I love it so much. Look, she flew. She flies, everybody. Look at that. So thank you, Bruce, for that. At the very least, I have something new to throw in the meantime. I didn't know that there was beads inside of it because that's where it can get dangerous for dogs. And so obviously, as much as I would love to see my dogs tear it up, I also care a lot about my dogs. And my dog's health and safety is not worth having them tear up a doll that could kill them. So thank you again, man. And also, he also sent me another really cool gift. So first off, there's digital codes for, is it all 3 or just 2 of them? I think it's just for 2 of them. And I think he sent me the other one, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. But he sent me the entire new Godzilla collection. So you've got the Godzilla from 2014, which is a fantastic film. You then got Kong Skull Island. Yeah, Brie Larson's in that twice. And then Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I didn't like, to be honest. I was not a fan of it. It was, they spent too much time on the humans and not enough time on the monsters. So, but anyway, I will be doing a giveaway. In fact, let's do one tonight. So, on his request, I'll hold on to the digital codes for a little bit. We'll do those on like Patreon, Subscribe Star, etc. We'll give away those codes. But let's go ahead and give away. So it's going to be the set. Because of his request, I'm giving away the entire Godzilla set. So you get the first Godzilla film, you get Kong Skull Island, and also Godzilla King of the Monsters. So you get the entire set. Hyben says, I give your throw a 1 out of 10. Ask Captain America to do it better next time. J Sto says, shoot her now, shoot her now. My eyes. Do you shoot skeet? Pull. I don't actually. That would be fun, right? That would be a lot more fun. All right, so unfortunately, because this is going away as a set, it means that my D-Lab people, unfortunately, y'all are not going to be involved in this giveaway. But if you want to jump over to YouTube right now, so that way you can be eligible for it, you can do so at this point in time. But don't worry, you know I take care of you. You know I take care of you, Booze. All right, so let me go ahead and get this set up over on my thing. So once again, shout out to Bruce for this. So this is going to be for Godzilla. I'm just going to say trilogy. I mean, I think they're still making more, right? Because they're going to make the Godzilla versus King Kong is going to be the next film in the franchise, which let's hope they bring Brie Larson's character back. Wouldn't that be amazing? But anyway, so we'll make this 50 tickets to enter, with 100 max being the case. So first off, let me reset. Yes, and then boom, let's open it up. All right, so if you want to enter into win all 3, so again, one winner, all 3 Godzilla films. So the Godzilla from 2014, Kong Skull Island, but also Godzilla King of the Monsters. I know there's a lot of people out there that actually really like this movie, but you get all 3 of them, and you can do with them whatever it is you please. So Kong Skull Island can get thrown over your shoulder if you feel that way about it. If you want to enter it in, it's enter exclamation point, put a space, and then the number of tickets you want to buy. All right, so it's 50 cookies per ticket, 50 cookies per ticket with a max of 100 tickets. With a max of 100 tickets. So you put enter exclamation point space and then the number of tickets you want to buy. Make sure you've got the number that you need. So Alex McCarthy, I got you in for 100, bro. I got you in for 100. Mr. Peabody, I got you for 100. CWD Trixie, I got you for 100. Dean Heiss for 25. Blake Hemlow for 10. Photo Guy for 1. Mr. Pete for 100. Cynical, yours didn't go through. I don't know if it's because if it's the new name. Maybe. I'm not sure. But no, you should be fine because you donated tonight, and I think you got extra cookies for that. So try it again. Cynical. Let me make sure that it was all put in right. So maybe you can't get 100? I don't know. Let's see. Cynical, I got you for 50. There you are. All right, I got you for 50. All right. So I guess it was a number thing because it's 50 cookies per ticket, right? It's 50 cookies per ticket. Dion for 100. Cobra Viper for 25. Mikey Woods for 25. Jeremy Swiggs for 10. The Senate for 1. Hound 3000 for 1. So remember that this only for regulars. So only for regulars. So I will be double checking whoever the winner is. I'll be double checking to make sure that you're a regular. You need to have at least 2 hours of watch time. So I don't have that much as far as requests go, but need to have at least 2 hours of watch time. So no one just jumping in and taking names first time in. Happy Beard Day, by the way, says Orange Chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. You would make a good game show host. Really, Mayor Jeremy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Cynical Sender says, oh no, 10%. I'm dying here. Well, don't worry. It won't go on for much longer. All right, so I got Alex McCarthy, Mr. Peabody, CW Trixie, Dean Heiss, Blake Hemlow, Photo Guy, Mr. Pete, Hound 3000, Senate, Jeremy Swiggs, Mikey Woods, Cynical Centrist, Dion, Cobra Viper, and I got Darkness for 1. All right. Super Anime Gamer, I got you for 10. JKD Buck, I got you for 1. All right. Going once, twice. Done. The giveaway is now closed. The giveaway is now closed. All right. And the winner of the Godzilla trilogy of Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters is Alex McCarthy. Of course. Of course it is. Alex McCarthy, do you claim your prize? Alex McCarthy, do you claim your prize? Alex McCarthy, do you claim it? Do you claim it? Dear Lord, we got an ass hat over on D-Live. You're gone. You're gone. Alex McCarthy says, wahoo! Congratulations, bruv. I'll take that as a yes. So, Alex, you know the drill, man. Send me an email because I don't collect or keep track of, I think that my stamps.com keeps track of addresses that I send to. But just in case, email me, man, and just to confirm your address, because obviously sometimes addresses can change too. And I'll try and get this out in the mail sometime this week. So thank you so much for that, man. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'll have to double check these codes. So I'm going to do the codes at a later date. In fact, if you're over on Patreon and Subscribestar, stay tuned because you will probably be getting, and luckily it's the two good ones. So Godzilla King of the Monsters and the first Godzilla for 2014, they will be posted. And I believe these are all US codes. So don't have to worry about those UK codes. So I'll be giving away both of these at one point over there for my Subscribestar and Patreon peeps because you guys are awesome. So let me go ahead and shout out some people really quickly over there. Speaking of those people, let me shout out my September patrons. Animation Commentator, Baptist 702, Brian P, Dion, Edward Coleman, Elizabeth M, Enrique Evangelista, Entertainment Hacker, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, Heather Haskett, The Hunka Chunka Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Interdrop Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ Jonathan Jarenbeck, Matthew Kadish, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Reef Magos, Rosetta Allen, Theodora, Theodore Bannon, the DJD Show, those two ball guys, what an ABC. And coming back at the last minute, after some confusion, we've got, oh my goodness, I just emailed him earlier today. I forgot to add him back to the list. Shows you how far behind I am on everything. Sir Lance Alato. There we go. Let me go ahead and put him back in there because there was a little error in the thing. So Sir Lance Elato made it back in for this month. Cool. So thank you so much for being my patrons. And also let me of course give a huge shout out to my Subscribestar peeps. We've got, and I think the name is still the same, Box. If you know who you are and you signed up on September 3rd, I don't know what the name is supposed to say, but I just see a box. So thank you, Box. History Girl, Tina B, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Laura E Story, J. McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Fan Annex of Film, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, Filmy Professor, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Christian J. Murr, Texas Kayla, Rolanda Scarfullery, Nebadanji Adams, Andreas, and ZK Man. Thank you very much for being amazing and beautiful people. You are absolutely fantastic. I love you all very much so. I very love you much so and do. Will Gentry said it was clearly a joke about that MILF show. She just wanted me to say it. That's what it was. That's what it was all about. How dare you? How dare you? Oh boy. We got another one. Why is it always the same message? Hello, I'm Turkish. Okay. Then you've just revealed yourself to be a troll. That's not anything against anything. Super says, sorry I got quiet second half of the stream. I got distracted with other things. No problem at all. Thanks for hosting another awesome stream and have a great night. You have a great night as well. JD Buck, you have a great night, sir. Random Letter Doom, you have a good night. JJ, send you info on Discord. Thank you very much, JJ. I appreciate it. Larry says, have you seen Night of the Comet? No, I have not. What did you think? Giving Turks a bad rap. Seriously, man. It's the D-Live crazies. They're giving them a bad name. I don't know why. Do you have a Facebook page? I think Adam Shawhan runs a fan page. I don't have one, though. I do not. I got off a while back. I literally have a generic thing, so that way I can stay in contact with my Geeks and Gamers brethren. But it's like just a messenger thing. It's not a actual profile. So, but anyway, you guys freaking rock. Love to my D-Live fam. Love to my YouTube fam. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless.